Hey there, welcome. This is going to be Chivalry Medieval Warfare of episode 2 of my new Deploy series. I thought this game looks pretty interesting, just started getting into it. So yeah, hopefully we enjoy this, and I'm going to get in some classes now and then we'll get into some gameplay. So moving on to the classes, there's going to be the archer. He's got your bow and arrows, he's got your ranged weapons. He's also not very good at close quarters, but he can hold his own with a little dagger and short sword. He also gets a shield to put on his back. Next is the man-at-arms. He has his axe, and you can use short swords and other weapons such as, like, you know, your lighter swords, and he's got a small shield. He's kind of like your mopping up thing. Next is your vanguard. He uses spears, axes and smoke pots. He's pretty good for advancing and mopping up things that the knights do. Next is going to be the knight, which you know, he's your heavy class. He uses double swords. He uses not double swords, sorry, he uses his double-handed swords. Uses maces and short swords. He also has a huge shield, which is pretty damn good for, you know, just deflecting anything that comes his way. Moving on to some gameplay here, we got the knight class here. Sorry about the random just smashing his head open there, but it's pretty fun. Yeah, this class is, as I said, he's like the heavy guy. He's your heavily armoured guy. He's what would be most protected in a medieval battle. But then again, he's pretty cumbersome, so you're not going to be doing much sneaky kills. You really need to stand your ground, make sure you've got enough stamina left to actually block anything that comes your way, because you are going to be a big target, because he can basically smash through anything, you know, provided he doesn't have an enemy knight on his tail. This game mode here that we're playing is called Push. Got to move a barrel like a cart of explosives to the enemy's gate. This is pretty good game mode to start off with, as you know, it encourages teamwork pretty well. Yeah, I think, to be honest, the game does suffer from being just a bit sort of a bit hack and slash, but there is really some strategy to it. I mean, you can't just hold block; you really have to time the block, like, which is pretty hard to get used to. But once you do, it's quite fun. The attacks for your melee are actually very complicated. It's not just like one button. You know, you use scroll wheel to stab and scroll wheel back to do like an overhead slash, and right mouse button, and yeah, all the good stuff with that would come with you know, a detailed melee combat system, which is, you know, I appreciate, because I think if it didn't have that, this game wouldn't be worth playing. The game in itself, though, is pretty good. I mean, there are some places that look phenomenal, and I think, to be honest, the animations and stuff and the character models look great, but some of the environments look a bit last gen, which is a bit of a shame. But yeah, I think, as I showed you at the beginning, it's not a good idea to be a hero in this game. I mean, it does suffer from some dodgy hit detection and some other stuff, so you really need to stick with a bunch of teams, or you're just going to get absolutely javelin scoped across the map. Couldn't really think of a definition for that, but yeah, I think sticking with a team, definitely the way to go. Try to get something with a bit more armour as a newer player. Stick with the you know, the original weapons. I think the mace is pretty hard to use. It's pretty hard to get used to, like swinging and stuff like that. It's just a very odd weapon. Like, you don't see weapons like this in video games very often. You know, swinging the mace, you have to like swing it around your head with the mouse, and then kind of like, yeah, it's very complicated. So don't start off with this. As you can see there, that guy had a like a double-handed sword. That's pretty good, but maybe you'd want to go with a shield option for a knight. You know, it's definitely one of the harder classes to get into. However, it can save your life if you don't really, you know what you're doing with a team. Man-at-Wars, you know, he's probably your second best option, and then you've probably got Vanguard. Archers, as I said, the hit detection's pretty shit, so make sure you do know what you're doing. I'll get into a bit of gameplay with the archer in a second, actually, and I'll show you just exactly what I mean. But for now, I just wanted to talk about how cool there's a little system in this game, if you have a good enough PC, that you can basically leave all the bodies in blood that have happened throughout the game. So basically you can just see what's happened over the course of a battle, and it makes it feel more like sort of Kingdom of Heaven or something like that film, the end of that, where they're just looking over a field of bodies. The hit mark and the hit detection stuff feels absolutely brilliant. I couldn't really complain about that with the melee weapons. That is, once you hit someone's head off with like a mace or something, it just strikes a chord. To be honest, it's not something that needs to be missed. It's still a very expensive game though. I mean, for a game that came out like early 2011 or 12, I'm not too sure. The price is still like 19 quid, which is it's not that much for a game, but still, now and then it goes on Steam sales, which is where I picked it up with the Deadliest Warrior expansion, which I personally find a bit boring compared to this. There's not as much team action going on, and to be honest, the variety of classes just makes it feel a little bit sort of too much. I mean, it looked like something that was just chucked in at the end. Anyway, getting on to the archer gameplay. As I'm using here, I'm using a bow and arrow, like a longbow. Oh no, this is the compact bow. I think the bow and arrows, the longbow is the last weapon that you unlock for the archer. However, the crossbow is a pretty good option for something like that, which I just had. Luckily, there was a knight there, which could just save my ass. But this is what I mean. I perfectly shot that guy about 3 times, and the hit detection just kind of went, no, you actually fired to the right, and it's a bit random. I mean, I know in real life that would happen, but to be honest, in a game where there's not even that much like team coordination, everyone just kind of runs in the same direction, unless there is an objective, then I think a bow and arrow should really, have a bit more range, and especially considering some archers could fire over 1,000 yards with a bow. I definitely think that the range and just the accuracy of bows need to be improved. The sensitivity as well is ridiculous no matter what you put it on. It either seems like you put it on too low or too high. There's no middle ground, there's no comfortable ground. So I wouldn't recommend starting out with an archer, which I usually would. But yeah, as you can see here, he has a little short sword just in case you kind of run dry on arrows or whatever else situation. He's pretty good at getting a few little sneaky stabs in for your other guys to take him out. Anyway, this was a short little video just showing you, some of the basics and what I think about the game and what I think beginners need to learn about Chivalry. Anyway, hope you enjoyed, and have a good one, guys.